Good evening, everybody. Sorry for the no camera today. I am not feeling the greatest, and you don't need to see a green canty. Um, let's hop right into it. Operational information as of 8 a.m., December 7th. Unfortunately, the 1018th day of the war, full scale invasion, has begun. And hey Ronnie, Blue, Blonde Bombsheller, Nikki, good to see you folks. Um, yeah, I've been watching Syria. The happenings going on there. I'm not going to talk about it much. I'm not a news channel. I am a Ukraine support channel. Um, so yes, it is good news that's going on in Syria for Ukraine. Well, bad news for Russia, so thus good news for Ukraine. But I'm going to leave it at that. Um, protests are still going on in Georgia. And unfortunately, they forgot how to do formatting again on ZCU website. So 101, they say 118th, but it's 1018th day of the large-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has begun. Over the past day, 177 combat clashes were recorded. The enemy was most actively attacking in Pokrovsk and Kharkiv directions. According to updated information, during the day, the enemy launched 3 missile strikes using 5 missiles on the positions of Ukrainian units and settlements, as well as 10 airstrikes, dropping 36 bombs from aircraft. In addition, it carried out 4,000 artillery strikes, 143 of them from MLRS systems. The aggressor carried out airstrikes on the settlements of Novoihorivka, Constantinople, Dechetsny, Rydny, Zaporizhia, Novopavlivka, and Novosivka. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. That's definitely true, Ronnie. Yesterday, aviation and missile troops of the artillery of the defense forces carried out 5 strikes on areas of concentration of enemy personnel and munitions, and also hit 2 command posts. Let's see. Let's go there. In the Kharkiv direction near Voschansk, in Tukhay, in the directions of Vysoka Yarga and Kozachi Lopan, Russian terrorists stormed the positions of Ukrainian units 5 times and were repulsed. And not many people are talking about this area here. Kozachi Lopan. It is Russians trying to open another front inside of Ukraine. And they're hoping to use these 2 roads to go into Kharkiv. Really? You know, it shows my mic is being picked up. Anybody else can confirm? Okay. Kozachi Lopan is going to be something we definitely need to keep an eye on, because if Russia makes another entry into Ukraine, that is not a great distance to Kharkiv. Ukraine was able to stop them here and here, but Russia is just trying to spread the Ukrainian defense lines thinner and thinner. Of course, Voschansk is an area of heavy attack. It is, Russia partially controls the city, while Ukraine is in control of the other side of the city. Separated by a small river for the most part, but Russia still has not been able to get control of the north side of the river. Thanks, LJ, for coming by. McPigeon, good to see you. Anna, good to see you. Moving on to Kupiansk. 9 clashes took place over the last day in the Kupiansk direction. In particular, near Kolonivska, Lozova, Zagorova, and Zapadny. Zapadny is a new one. Scroll out and head over here. Zaroza, Lozova, Kupiansky, and I'm not seeing that new town offhand. But we won't linger. As you can see, Russians are trying to pincer move in Krashivka and Kupiansk. Ukrainian defenders are holding strong in the area. It is not to say it's an easy fight, but it's going to be a slog for both sides in this area. Pretty much, well, it's trench warfare. Moving on to Lemansky direction. The enemy attacked 14 times near Chernivska, Horivka, Kopanki, Nadivi, Makivka, Toretsk, and Terny. Kopanki, Novohorovka was one of the cities that was struck with the glide bombs. Ivanki, Terny, Yampolivka, Zercherny, Torsk, and basically that entire front line was active yesterday. Again, this area was all occupied by Russia at one time. They know what it's like, and they are fighting hard to stay liberated. Let's combine the Kramatorsk and Torsk direction. In the Kramatorsk direction, 5 combat clashes took place near the settlements of Bilohora and Stopochna. In the Toretsk direction, the Russians attacked 9 times near the settlements of Toretsk, Delivka, and Sirbianka. Chasov Yar, Stopochny. I think there might have been a little bit of a change there. Nope, I guess not. So you can see there's some minor gains in Toretsk. Sirbianka, Devlipka, and of course Toretsk. And these are the gains Russia has seen today. They are on the edge of the tailings from the mining operation. So this could get very risky in the near future if Russia is able to get on top of this hill and have a height advantage. So definitely something that you're going to have to watch out for the next couple days. And moving on to Pokrovsk, the main area of Russian focus. Our defenders repelled 48 enemy assault actions in the areas of the settlements of Mirolubivka, Promin, Lysivka, Zhoty, and Kumtasky. Pretty much the same towns we always seem to hear about. Mirolubivka, Promin, Lysivka, Junkasti, what was the other one? Zhitove. Zhitove is already Russian occupied, but again, Russia is making advances south of Pokrovsk. The key thing to watch for here is going to be these two roads and this rail line. If they can push out to there, it's going to be not good for Pokrovsk. The other town to watch is going to be Severodvinsk. Basically, this is the last line of defense before Pokrovsk. Definitely a hard situation. I wish I had better news. Unfortunately, I don't. In the Kharkiv direction, 35 assaults took place near Staroturny, Zori, Sansivka, Kharkiv. I'm assuming that's actually Khodorkova, Decheny, and Delaney in the last day. Moving down to Pokrovsk, Zori, Sansivka, Staroturny, Khodorkova, Delaney, and yeah, it's not a good situation here either. Khodorkov is slowly being occupied by Russia. Go to the bigger picture here. And you see the concentration of troops being moved into this area. I think we're gonna see more attacks in this area coming up. This is the next area we're gonna cover. Not a whole lot of front line movement, but just a lot of troop movement behind the lines. In the Vermits direction, our defenders repelled 21 assaults near the settlements of Upensivka, Konstantinopolsky, Rozdolny, Novodorivka, Novosibivka. Again, this butts up right against Khodorkova direction. Upensivka, Konstantinopolsky, Sukovyaly, some other real small towns right here that aren't being mentioned. Rozdolny, and Velika Novosibirka. So yeah, Russians are pushing in this area entirely, trying to close off the entire region of Donetsk. Unfortunately, it's not a lot of good news right now. Winter is coming in, snow is falling, and hopefully that will slow Russians down. But it's a meat wave attack. An attempt to attack our positions in the direction of Novodanlivka in the Orikhiv direction was a failure for the invaders. Let's add in the Dnieper direction. The enemy was defeated 3 times attacking Ukrainian defense lines in the Dnieper direction. Orikhiv, Novodanlivka, just north of Robotne. There are reports that Russia is building up forces in this area for an assault to moving forward. I haven't heard more than just a buildup of Russian troops, so I don't know where exactly. But it looks like the main concentration, according to Deep State, is near Orikhiv. In the Dnieper direction, they don't give us a town, but there has been multiple reports of attacks on these islands in the middle of the Dnieper, trying to dislodge Ukrainian defenses and move closer to Kherson. In Kursk, Ukrainian defenders repelled 14 attacks by the Russian invaders. In Huliopol, which was next to Orikhiv, the situation is unchanged. In Volzhony, Polisi directions, no sign of formations of enemy offensive groups have been detected. On the border with Chernihiv and Sumy regions, the enemy maintains its military presence, carries out mortar and artillery shelling of settlements from the territory of Russian Federation. At the same time, our soldiers continue to actively inflict significant losses in manpower and equipment on the occupation forces, exhausting the enemy along the entire front line of combat. Goes into the losses. Join the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine. Our strength is in our unity. Glory to Ukraine. And just to show you this in the original Ukrainian, Nasha, I'll have to look that up more. That's definitely a phrase I'm going to take time out to learn. Going into the losses for today, let me get those pulled up here. Total combat losses of the enemy as of December 7th, 2024, the 1018th day of the invasion. Russia lost 1,300 personnel today, 17 APVs, 12 oh, I'm going Kermit the Frog here. Sorry. 12 artillery systems, 2 anti-aircraft systems, 19 UAVs, and 49 vehicles. A significant dip in the casualties and vehicle losses for today. It's been a trend in the past. I don't know if this is the case or not, but Russia will calm down attacks for 2 or 3 days to build up troops to do a massive attack in the future. So pray for Ukraine and the soldiers on the front line defending against the hordes of meat waves. Moving on to the air raid really quick. Zhytomyr has been under air raid for 4 hours 20 minutes. Kyiv Oblast has been under air raid for 5 hours 40 minutes. And Kharkiv for 2 hours and 25 minutes. The reason I bring that up is let's move on to my Telegram archive. And today there have been many launches of UAVs. This was reported about an hour and a half ago. The enemy spent the last few days accumulating shaheeds by reducing the usual intensity. There are already about 35 UAVs in the airspace of Ukraine, and the numbers are expected to increase. Take care. Do not ignore the air alarms. When the Russians are suffering more than usual, they believe the answer is to kill children and the elderly in Ukraine. That's pretty much the truth of it there. Let's go from top up on the video for today. Covered that. That's for the other day. This was Zaporizhia last night. Not tonight, but the night before. We watched that yesterday, but I wanted to bring that up because we are going to Zaporizhia in daylight. So that was the home that was on fire, the businesses that were hit. The bus stop just melted. So this is Ukraine. Even the babushkas are out there sweeping up and cleaning up after Russian strikes. That is Ukraine. It's amazing the spirit that they have. In the Black Sea, Ukrainians are striking oil platforms with naval drones, and here's one of those assaults. Russia is using those oil platforms in the Black Sea to keep an eye on grain shipments and drone movements, trying to protect their fleet in the Black Sea. Keep that up in the corner, I guess. Speaking about the Shaheeds, Well, I'll take a second here. Bill's Garage, good to see you. Thank you for coming to the stream. Appreciate you being here. Niels, Nikki Hill, good to see you. Oh, you guys are having a day of it, aren't you? Thank you for chatting and keeping everybody involved. The dolphin at the start? Oh, yeah. I did not notice that before. So, yeah, the superstition is that like dolphins are like the ocean's blessings on traveling ships. So it's kind of cool that the dolphins are escorting the naval drones of Ukrainians. And let's move on to Russian drones. So this is 2 Ukrainian helicopters following a Shahed drone. You see the Shaheeds over a settlement right now.
Какой большой. Так, вы меня наводите, она закрыла. Я не вижу. А ты помахал, привет. Помахал, привет, блядь. Тихо, тихо, запись идет. Все нормально, идем. Махает, махает. 8 догоняет. Ну и в том же лесу лупануть, чтоб 2 легли. Рядом. Так, что? Правее идем. Прикольно.
I believe this is early morning.
Прикольно. Еще? На курсе. На курсе. 20. Курс 20. 220? Да, 220. Скорость. Форма сохраняем. 96.
So they wait for the Shahed to get out from the settlement. And pretty soon here you're going to see a helicopter come in from the left. There we are.
Battery low.
В то же самое место.
And there's the first hit on it. A couple more hits. Oh, got another good hit, and it's starting to go down. And crashes into the forest.
Как его зовут? Так, спостерігаємо, зафіксовано. Гурток, не гурток. По висоті... Глядач, блядь. А, глядач.
And scratch one Shahed. Took out another Tor today. SBS, with the help of heavy strike drone, burned down the Tor M2 air defense system in Zaporizhia. I love seeing these things taken out because they're like $27 million per This one is in operation. The last one we saw was driving down the road when they took it out, but there's a second hit, drop and hit on the front end, taking out the other side of the tracks. And there's the engine. And the only thing that's good for now is the roasting marshmallows. Let me translate this really quick for you. Another case of dangerous mining and detonation of a high-rise building occupied by the enemy in Toretsk. Basically, Ukrainians are making sure Russians have no shelter in Toretsk. They're just bringing in Christmas presents. And no more place to hide for the Russians. Getting into the political spectrum of things, President Zelensky arrived at the LC's palace to meet Macron and Trump. Meeting between the three. So they're there for the reopening of Notre Dame. Just talking about the fire in Notre Dame, but they had a nice meeting. After the meeting, took about 35 minutes. Zelensky said the meeting was productive and resolute. Okay, so misquoting several themselves even. President Zelensky described his meeting with President Trump and French President Macron as good and productive. President Trump, as always, is resolute. Thank you for that. I also thank President Macron for organizing this meeting. The leaders discussed the situation on the battlefield, the needs of their people, and achieving a just peace for Ukraine. We all want to end this war as quickly and fairly as possible, Zelensky emphasized. After his meeting with Trump and Macron, Zelensky emphasized the need for a just peace that ensures Russia cannot pose a future threat. Our position is that peace should be fair for all of us. Putin and the Russian Federation must not have a chance to return again. Highlighted the importance of security guarantees, stressing that there will be no peace without Ukraine. Zelensky noted that his partners fully understand this and have agreed to continue working on these critical issues. Yeah, I'm not going to go into all that because he's a convicted felon. Hey, how's he able to leave the country? Is my first thought. They later met again at Notre Dame when it was opened for the opening ceremony. Already covered the drones, and I love this. This was so funny for me. We're at our positions and we have effing nothing to eat. Look at the skullduggery that's going on behind the zero line. Russian serviceman recorded a video in which he talked about how fellow soldiers do not want to deliver food to them at the zero line, so they just dump it on the side of the road. Supply train soldiers, called camels, are the lowest caste in the Russian army, predominantly convicts or delinquent soldiers, often unarmed. They carry ammunition and food to positions on foot, being easy targets and virtually expendables. They are increasingly refusing to do their job, simply throwing away ammo and food to rot while their comrades starve in their positions. No Merry Christmas if you are a Russian and refuse to leave Ukraine. There's a lot of swearing in this, so I apologize for that,
Что хочу
but
сказать.
it's funny to
Мы,
me.
блядь, тут сидим. Вот.
So we are sitting here, a chocolate bar.
Сидим вот, блядь, там на
We are at a
позициях. У
positions
нас
and we have
нет
fucking
хуя
nothing to
брать.
eat.
Вот смотрите,
Look
какое
at the
блядство
fuckery that's
тут, блядь,
going on
творится.
behind the zero line.
В пилу на нуле, нахуй. Это все, блядь.
All of this.
Вот это все, нахуй.
This is
Это всё
all
еда.
fucking food.
Это, блядь, что, нахуй.
Fuck knows what
За
these
банки.
cans are.
Вы знаете, это суп рассольник, блядь. Пиздец, хлеб.
The bread is a fucking rotten. It's turned black.
Это все еда.
All the food these train fuckers
Пидорасы-обозники не хотят носить
don't
нам
want to bring to
на,
our positions.
на позиции. Сыр плавленый, блядь.
Cheese,
Ну, патроны нахуй.
bullets,
Хуй. Хлеб, пожалуйста.
bread.
Гранаты нахуй надо.
Who wants grenades? No one
Нахуй,
needs
не надо.
them.
Патронов,
Boxes and
пиздец.
boxes of
Припасы.
grenades. More ammo.
Тоже гранатометные нахуй.
Grenade launcher ammunition. Bottled water.
Вода. Сушки, баранки нахуй. Коробки
Ring-shaped rolls in a box.
стоят. Барабанки, рассольники.
Russian soup.
Да что это за хуйня? Тоже рассольники. Ну, разные банки.
More Russian soup.
Икра.
Caviar.
Тоже рассольники каких-то
Another
разных
type
видов.
of Russian soup.
Чай, блядь. Хлеб
Tea.
валяется нахуй.
Bread. All fucking lying
Печенье,
around.
все пиздец, вот раскисшее.
Cookies are all
Масло,
crumbly.
блядь.
Butter.
Идем дальше, нахуй.
Moving on.
Яблоки, блядь.
Apples.
Супы харчо, блядь.
Some kind
Консервы
of soup.
всякие,
More
хуй
canned
знает.
goods.
Макароны, блядь.
Macaroni. Snacks. More
Закуски.
ammo.
Патроны, блядь. Воды столько, нахуй.
All the water.
Хлеб вот в мешках. Он лежит.
Bread.
И нахуй он просто здесь
Just sitting there
гниет,
rotting.
блядь. А мы сидим там, ни хлеба у нас, нихуя. Сука.
I mean, I'm going to mute that. Play it again. I mean, just look at the piles and piles of all the supplies that these guys are just throwing off to the side of the road because they don't want to go to the zero line to feed the troops that are fighting. You know, if you go home, Russians, you wouldn't have this issue. Just tons and tons of it. And it's not just food. It's, you know, RPGs, water, 7.62 ammo I saw in there, grenades. It is, to me, it is funny because this is Russian supply lines. They literally have to send people like this guy back from the front line to go pick up food from these places where the camels throw them so they don't get targeted by drones. That's just kind of music to my ears in a way. And continuing with the Russian Mir, this is Adivka. I forgot when the date was. Doesn't say the date this picture was taken. Maybe today on the 7th. But this is what is left of Adivka. It's not a very detailed map or image. Oh, I'm trying to zoom in with my mouse wheel. But you can see there, like every building seems to have some kind of damage on it. The potholes are mortar from shelling. Just all over the place. This is Russian Mir. This is the Russian world, Russian peace that they want to bring to all of Ukraine. And that's all I have on Telegram. Looks like there's a few new posts. SpaceX expands Ukraine's access to secure Starlink network. SpaceX has signed a contract with the Pentagon to enhance Ukraine's access to a more secure version of the Starlink satellite network. Under the agreement, 2,500 Starlink terminals in Ukraine will gain access to Starshield, an encrypted signal designed to resist hacking and jamming. Previously, only 500 terminals in Ukraine had access to this advanced version, bringing the total to 3,000 Starlink terminals in Ukraine, able to connect with Starshield. So that is definitely good news. Adding that many more Starlink terminals to Ukraine will be great for their defense. Get this out of the way, go full screen. And Kharkiv air alert has dropped off. Kyiv and Zhytomyr are still ongoing. Because it's, well, Nian asked, why did Trump have to be at Notre Dame? Trump likes being seen. And for leaders of the free world, Notre Dame was the place to be seen. You notice Putin wasn't there. Assad wasn't there. Xi from China wasn't there. Kim Jong-un wasn't there. Iranian leaders weren't there. It was a meeting for leaders of the free world. Zelensky was there. Shows you something. I'm not seeing that on live on stream. So, Mr. Swiggle, can you explain who the poo face person was? It's not drivers. These are like the criminals and deserters and stuff. They're made to walk the food from the supply depot to the front units. And rather than going all the way to the front line, they throw the food on the ground, hang out for a little bit for the time it would take them to walk to the front, and then just return to the supply line like they did their job. Well, it is what it is. Caught up with chat. Moving on to mainstream media for Ukraine. And there is literally 3 stories for today. Russian meat grinder tactics bring battlefield success. Wait a minute, that was Reuter's story yesterday. So no, 2 stories. Trump was late to the meeting, but Zelensky-Macron trilateral was all smiles and handshakes. You already covered most of this, so I'm not going to go into these stories. The other story is more of a personal piece. It brings back a sense of belonging. Bakhmut was destroyed by Russia, but the town lives on through its newspaper. So basically, this lady is still printing the newspaper from Bakhmut. Yeah, I don't. After an 8-month halt at the start of the war, they now print 6,000 copies a week for distribution across Ukraine. So, not a big newspaper, but that they're keeping it going and delivering it to people throughout Ukraine. This is a long story to talk about a newspaper staying active. Yeah, a lot of stuff in there. I'm not going to read all that. That's a lot of info for her. So yeah, literally no real news about what's going on in Ukraine other than what I showed you guys on Telegram. With that, unless there's any questions, I'm going to call it a night, go crawl back into bed and sleep until next month. Let's see. I should have known New York Times. Of course, Trump's the first one they say. Billionaire Bernard Arnault, Zelensky, Macron, the Archbishop of Paris, Selma Hayek. King Felipe of Belgium. Appeared with the Grand Duchess of Luxembourg, Maria. Of course, Trump shakes hands with Prince William. Dennis Sassou-Nguesso. I don't. Ashley Biden. Macron. So yeah, it's kind of like a who's who of the political world at that today. So I'm saying good night. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe out there. Thank you for coming to the stream. Especially thank you for supporting Ukraine. See you tomorrow. Aye. You know, when you're sick, you forget basic things.
Ciao.